President Trump blasting the Russia investigation at a rally this week in West Virginia. This while special counsel Robert Mueller actually impanels a grand jury in the probe. Here with reaction to that and much more, former head of the House Oversight Government and Reform Committee, now Fox News contributor Jason Chaffetz. All right, Jason, we talked about, in my open, I talked a lot about the fact that now we have Mueller impaneling a grand jury in a district where it tells me he's forum shopping. You know, instead of Virginia or the Southern District of New York, where the campaign was, he's in Washington, D.C. But that, and Maxine Waters, your old colleague, is thrilled with that, but I don't have time for that. As chair of government oversight and reform, Hillary actually sat in front of you. When she sat in front of you, do you think that she was being truthful? And do you think she should be prosecuted or at least have a grand jury impaneled in the interest of equal justice?
Well, when I had Director Comey come sit before my committee, I asked him very specifically, did he look at the testimony that Hillary Clinton had given in front of the Select Committee? And the answer was no, which was stunning at the time. He said he needed paperwork.
I think we have that sound. I want to show everybody you saying that to her.
Okay.
Did Hillary Clinton lie under oath? Not to the FBI, not in a case we're working. You need a referral from Congress to investigate her statements under oath? Sure do.
That's not true, is it?
Yeah. I don't think it's true, but he did get a letter from myself as the chairman of the Oversight Committee and Bob Goodlatte, the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, and the FBI never, ever, ever responded to it. And I've been frustrated, quite frankly, in the Trump administration because the Department of Justice still hasn't responded to that. They've still never given Congress and the American people a definitive yes or no as to whether or not she lied under oath.
Tell you, Jason, this is my take on it. I'll be real fast. Look, if she was asked whether she had classified emails on her private server, if she said yes, they have her for the crime, the underlying crime, and if she said no, they have her on perjury. They had to, then they didn't ask the question, they didn't do a real investigation. But my frustration now with Mueller, are you seeing a different Justice Department now? Should this Justice Department start some grand jury impanelings, or at least request them for everybody from Hillary to Loretta to Eric Holder?
I want there to be a serious investigation. I want them to be held to the same standard. Put the names aside. You had an inspector general who found that there was classified information in a non-classified setting, a violation of law. That was the conclusion of an inspector general. That is far more evidence than anything that you ever heard with the name Trump associated with it. And they haven't done anything with it. And so, yes, whether they impanel a grand jury or do a special prosecutor, they have got to institute justice. That's all we ask for is justice, but it's not being held. There are 300 people at the State Department that were identified in mishandling of classified information potentially, and that investigation is still open. It's been more than a year, and the State Department hasn't concluded that investigation.
Well, you know what's interesting is now we have the Attorney General who's come out and said, I'm going after the leakers. Everybody's got to be on notice. Well, what have we done? Who's been arrested? You know, I don't want to just hear we're going after them. Don't we know, or shouldn't we be able to know who has access to information that the president is speaking with the Prime Minister of Canada or the president or Prime Minister of Australia? Only a certain number of people have access to that.
I think viewers would be shocked by the stunning number of people who actually have access to a personal conversation that the president is having on official business. I want to see some people in handcuffs because we know that they were mishandling this information by the tens of thousands of documents during when Clinton was there. But now when Donald Trump is there, you still have this happening. It's not that difficult to find the whole food chain. Right. Whether they do lie detector tests or do something else, they have got to find these people and put some people in handcuffs. It's a violation of law.
And not only that, I mean, the fact that, you know, we haven't gone back. Well, let me ask the question differently. Are we wimps? You know, when you've got the Democrats in power, I mean, they'll impanel a grand jury. They'll pull people out of major law firms who are old prosecutors and bring them together. They're gunning for our president. We've got them by the short hairs, and we're like, oh, you know, she's a nice lady.
Oh, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. When Republicans had their chance, and there was, remember, there's inspectors general who are coming to conclusions, and yet we still didn't pursue it. We still didn't insist, whether it be Fast and Furious or the IRS scandal or Benghazi or the Clinton email scandal. I mean, none of that, and it was very, very frustrating. We duly issued subpoenas that are not followed through, and the deep state is allowed to just continue to do it and now embarrass the president. That
not only not followed through, we issue subpoenas, and, you know, they get bleach bit and hammers, and they destroy evidence. I'll tell you, as a prosecutor, they wouldn't do that to me. Anyway, Congressman Jason Chaffetz, thanks so much. And catching the White House rats, you can't miss tonight's Street Justice, still ahead.